Welcome, everybody. It's Monday night, so it's time for some Soulherder. Some people have begun talking about the possible inclusion of Hostage-Taker in Soulherder, and to be honest, I don't remember this card being discussed at all in the last year or so since Soulherder has been a thing in Modern. But it's a really interesting card. So when it enters battlefield, exile another target creature or artifact. So pretty much any threat the opponent can have, any creature, but also, artifact is pretty relevant. Things like Ensnaring Bridge, obviously, if a Tron opponent gets down, like Oblivion Stone, you can just cast Hostage Taker, nab that thing. And since it's an ETB ability, every time you blink the Hostage Taker, it's going to get another trigger. Now, the neat thing about Hostage Taker is it's rather different from, say, Deputy of Detention, because while the card is exiled by Hostage Taker, you can actually cast the card, right? So we cast Hostage Taker, and say we just grab the opponent's, Tarmogoyf, and then if we have 2 extra mana, we can just it doesn't need to be any particular color, right? Because the card says you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast that spell. We just pay 2 mana, and now we have Hostage Taker and a Tarmogoyf. Pretty massive 2-for-1, or I don't even know how that would calculate there, but it's a pretty huge swing. Now we've got a 2/3. We've got their Tarmogoyf. They do not have a Tarmogoyf, so pretty powerful. It's also got some cool loops. Hey DV, welcome to the stream this evening. I was starting to say Hostage Taker has some cool loops as possibilities in this deck. Say that you've got something like as basic as a Soulherder out on the board. You cast Hostage Taker, grab the opponent's Hierarch or something, use 1 mana, cast their Hierarch, go to the end step, just blink the Hostage Taker. Now you get to nab something else. That's pretty sweet. But that's not really a loop, right? As for loops, like Urian can come down, blink the Hostage Taker. The Hostage Taker can blink Urian, and then you can cast Urian again, and basically just keep getting those sweet Urian triggers where you get to blink your entire board. And then when Urian, let's see. Let's actually set this up. Hostage Taker is on the board. You cast Urian. You blink like 5 things, including Hostage Taker. Hostage Taker comes back to the battlefield at your end step, and you can use Hostage Taker to sort of tuck Urian away. Hostage Taker says that you exile it until Hostage Taker leaves the battlefield, right? So it's also a way to protect your creatures. But let me finish the loop first. So now we have tucked away Urian with Hostage Taker, goes to the opponent's turn, comes back to your turn, you untap. If you feel like it, you can just spend 5 mana, cast Urian again, blink your whole team again, go to the end step, get Hostage Taker back, and just rinse and repeat. Now, it's starting to say, if anything that you tuck underneath Hostage Taker, if it's your own creature or artifact, will come back to the battlefield if Hostage Taker gets killed, right? So if the opponent casts a board wipe, Hostage Taker will go to the graveyard, but whatever was underneath it will come right back. So it seems like there's just tons of potential for this card in the deck, and honestly, it's pretty shocking that it hasn't been discussed that much up to this point. DV, honestly, this is not my tech. I'm just bringing it to the masses, or doing my best to bring it to the masses. Not honestly sure who brought it up first, but it was in the Discord, and I know that Alicia has actually been testing with it a fair amount, and she says that she constantly stumbles across like new ridiculous interactions all the time. One of the things that she was talking about, a very basic interaction, is like play Hostage Taker, target your own Astrolabe. If you have 1 extra mana floating around, just play the Astrolabe again right away, draw a card, right? Go to your end step, blink Hostage Taker with Soulherder, just target the Astrolabe again, right? So it's just you're drawing an extra card every single turn. So that's one simple loop. But speaking of Astrolabe, you guys probably all know it's out of the format at this point. I say good riddance. There hasn't been space in this list for Astrolabe in a while, so it doesn't really bother me too much. Honestly, even in like the 80 card lists that were jamming Astrolabe. I think it's just a really, really poorly designed card. It could have been designed in a balanced way with any number of adjustments, right? Like it could have just required you to, well, first of all, it could have just come to the battlefield and not drawn a card, right? There's plenty of similar cards, I think, in Magic that you pay a mana cost, put the card down, and now you can just fix your mana for the rest of the game. I mean, pretty solid effect, right? So first of all, it could have just immediately replaced itself. Then it would have been totally not broken at all. Second, instead of filtering any generic mana to make any color of snow mana, it could have required snow mana to make snow mana. Like it could have just filtered any kind of snow mana. Now, I don't know that would have made it fair though, because the decks that were really abusing it were already just running pretty much snow mana. But you know, they could use things like Mystic Sanctuary to filter mana. Blood Crypt can filter mana through Astrolabe. So just poorly designed and rightfully banned at this point. Uses snow mana for activation, only produces snow mana from snow lands you already have. Yeah, that could have been fine, I guess. Any number of ways, as I was saying. The obvious things, I probably shouldn't have drawn a card. Sure, fair enough. Again, but the card did too much for way too little cost. It was like an auto include for no drawback. There's really no cards that punish people for having snow lands at this point. I think there was some super weak tech back in Ice Age when snow first came out that like I don't know, like you could like maybe it's like 4 mana destroy target snow plains or something like that. And that's just I just made that up off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there was no like legit snow hate like destroy all snow lands or something. That would actually punish people for running snow basics, which they get so many benefits for. So Paintball, welcome to the stream this evening. I was just saying this evening is all about Hostageherder. So I just threw it in the deck and haven't started trimming yet. There's not going to be a cardboard live deck list this evening because I'm gonna just sort of update the deck live with you guys here with me, just talk a little bit about the metagame and the adjustments that I'm gonna make. So for a little while, I have felt like Thragtusk is just a little bit not so high impact in the flex slot here. So I think Thragtusk is a super easy cut. So for the time being, I'll just throw him over here in the sideboard. That'll bring us back to 60 cards. You still have this little warning sign here because I've got 16 cards in the sideboard, throwing the Thragtusk over there. So we'll give that a think. Oh yeah, good call. Just don't pay attention to Cardboard Live. I forgot to take it down this evening. But if you guys want to play a Sweet Merfolk list, you can go ahead and download that list, I guess. So first things first. Without Astrolabe, as I was mentioning, in 60 cards, to have Dorks and have everything else I feel like I have needed. Astrolabe has been out of the list for a while. This list is also 60 cards, so it's not going to have Urian as a companion every single game. If we want to go and grab Urian, it's most often going to be done with a Court of Calling. We can just naturally draw it sometimes and cast it that way. Point being that without access to Urian consistently every single game, like back in the good old days before they changed the companion rule, we would happily run not just 4 Astrolabes, but some number of Abundant Growths as well. Just because 1 mana cycling cards that on turn 4 or 5, when you get Urian down, just continue drawing ridiculous amounts of cards are pretty bomb. But in a list where we don't have access to Urian every single game consistently, whether it be because we don't draw Chord, we don't draw Urian, we don't really hit our mana, it is pretty clunky as a 5-drop. We don't really need those kinds of effects anyway. I do have 4 Dorks. Hierarch has the Exalted, which can be good, obviously. But in this list, now that I'm running a second creature with black in the mana, I think I'm going for tonight's stream just to go all out on the Birds of Paradise. No drawback. I really don't like Goose because once you use the mana, once you use the food token that it creates, I've always found it to be super awkward to create more mana with it. I like to be able to just make mana with my Dorks every single turn. So I don't know that there's a full 15-second delay But maybe you're responding to what I'm saying, in which case I'm glad you agree with me. But sometimes I feel like people make suggestions and it's like what I'm actually saying right now. So, all right, we got the birds. 21 lands, probably going to keep it the same. I do not have a basic swamp. I may want to change that. Currently, we've got the Temple Garden and the Canopy Vista. I have found the Tangle lands to be really, really good. But the list with 60 cards starts to get really congested. We do have Uro, so we like having lots and lots of fetch lands to turn Uro on. And having two green-white duels, one of them painless, one of them a shock land, again, has felt fine. If I were going to include a basic swamp, there's a number of cuts I could make. First and foremost, probably one of those green-white duels, since I've got two of them already in the deck. I could trim one of the fetch lands, but we'll try playing and we'll see if it comes up. We do have the 4 birds. We do have the Overgrown Tomb, which can be grabbed with 8 different fetches between the Misties and the Windswept Heaths. Yeah, I think I agree with you that I think we're sort of set on the mana for now. Nyambi is still kind of in testing. It is literally just a 1-for-1 replacement with Charming Prince. They're very similar cards in how they function in the deck. They can get more utility out of a creature on the board. Nyambi by bouncing it to our hand and then recasting it. Prince by just blinking it. They both gain life. Nyambi when she bounces the creature. Prince if you choose that mode. Prince has the scry effect. Nyambi has the random activated ability that in like the dozen or so games that I've played with her or matches that I've played with her, I've never activated her once. So pretty fringe. In this list, I don't have the Oboro for the Nyambi synergy. Currently, the only legendaries that I have in the deck are Venser, Urian, and Uro, I think. So, and then Nyambi herself, but she can't pitch herself, because she's on the board. So not really worried about her activated ability. It's really for me. I do like Flash quite a lot in this deck, and I do like life gain in the deck, and I do like getting more value out of our creatures. So I'm not quite done testing Nyambi yet. Some of the folks testing Nyambi are running 4 of her in 80 card lists. The idea being that extra Nyambis just get pitched to the first Nyambi and draw extra cards because they function as extra legendary cards. Paintball, I'm not super psyched on Vial. So honestly, now that I've started playing Merfolk a little bit more often, I just haven't had enough time to just jam with Soulherder. So if I were going to actually test Vial, I would need to just be playing the deck very often to make an educated conclusion about it. I mean, as things stand, I do my stream, and then maybe I sit down and play once or twice at other points during the week. I should be having more time as we move deeper into the summer, so I'll see how it goes. But for the time being, I don't know. Aether Vial just seems a little bit weird to me in the deck. I'm not playing with... I really like Court of Calling, basically. And so when you switch to Vial, you typically want to switch back to Eladamri's Call. And when I switched to Vial, when I tried playing Vial in the last month or so, I don't know. I didn't give it a really good shot, I should say. But I didn't like it. It just felt really clunky, felt really weird. And there were situations where, like, I wished that I had Court of Calling, but instead I had Eladamri's Call. Like, the situation might have been like a whole bunch of creatures on the battlefield, but no white mana or something like that. So maybe I couldn't have cast the Eladamri's Call, but I had plenty of green creatures to tap for Court of Calling. Something like that. People have done super well with Vial lists, so if any of you are psyched on playing with Aether Vial, like, I encourage you to try it out. So only change to the deck so far. We took out the 2 hierarchs, went all in on birds. And then took out the Thrag Tusk for the Hostage Taker. Just sort of stoked to play with this evening. We're going to really want to remember that as a potential cord target. Now, for the interactive sort of flex slots, we've got 2 forces, 3 Path to Exiles. I guess I could probably just stick with that balance. The idea is that there's so many creatures in the format right now. You've got things like goblins that you really just need to answer with Path to Exile. Hostage Taker gives us a little bit more interaction for creatures. I could see going up to 4 paths. I would need to sort of rebalance a little bit. Going back to the original Soulherder lists that Gabriel Nassif was messing around with and did very well with initially. They did have the 4 paths and the 4 forces. I'm getting a little bit greedy by trimming those interactive cards in favor of higher numbers of sort of flex creatures. Examples are Uro, Siege Rhino, Stoneheart Dignitary, Hostage Taker, Nyambi, that kind of thing. So, I mean, if I were going to cut any of these flex creatures at this point, I mean, Knight has just seemed great. Deputy is also pretty great, you know, being able to cord for that guy, to take one of the opponent's creatures out of combat. These 2 cards have pretty much proven themselves at this point. We had run 4 Soul Herders, 4 Witnesses, and 80 cards. Trimming to 3 and 60 cards sort of seems okay. I think lists started out with 4 Witnesses, and then we thought, you know, you don't really want to draw them in your opening hand necessarily because you want to be playing Dorks and 2-drops, and Eternal Witness doesn't really have much to grab in the first few turns of the game. You want to get till turn 4 and 5 and 6, so maybe not running 4 is okay. But then I think we went back up to 4, back down to the 3. Some people maybe even running fewer. But I think Soulherder and Eternal Witness seem fine where they are. And if I were going to trim on any flex right now, I mean, it could be Urian, honestly, because it is a 5-drop, and as a singleton, it doesn't often come up. It feels like it could be a little bit win more, like if I've got a nice board and a Chord of Calling in hand, and I chord for Urian. Totally possible I was winning from that board position anyway, but a nice board presence for this deck could very easily be like 2 1/1 snakes and a 2/1 Knight of Autumn or something. In which case, cording for Urian can take it from like a neutral position to a winning position, since you're going to get to draw 2 more cards, maybe gain some life, destroy another artifact or something, and have a 4/5 flyer. So as things stand, you know, I do like all the effects that I'm running at this point. I have played many matches with lists like this and with this particular list. So I think I'm fine with the main deck, even though I would love to somehow squeeze another path and maybe another force in. As for the sideboard, looking at Thrag Tusk, it's another 5-drop. It would come in against sort of grindy decks, mid-range decks, which we tend to do well against anyway. We already have a Veil in the sideboard. We've got Teferi, which sort of somewhat counterintuitively is quite good against decks like Jund, really good against Death Shadow. So already doing some work against those mid-range matchups. And we've got life gain between Uro, Nyambi, Knight of Autumn, Siege Rhino. So I feel like Thrag Tusk can just like sit on the bench for a little while. Yeah, the follower. Thanks for letting me know, but I'm updating the list right now as we speak, so I couldn't really do an accurate cardboard live list this evening. So just ignore it. Not a big deal. So yeah, this is going to be the 60. Not too many changes from what I'm used to. Let's again try to remember that Hostage Taker is sort of trying to be center stage this evening. We're going to want to try to chord for that. All right, we won the die roll. It's lovely. Do have to mulligan though. Just gonna fix my window a little bit here. Man, Sometimes this is a little annoying. There we go. All right. So yeah, as I was saying, definitely a mulligan. Opponent says, good luck, have fun. Oh, wait, actually, you can just make this full screen. That's fine. Thanks. Same to you. And yeah, let's go ahead and take that mulligan. Okay, much better. Look at this hostage taker ready to go. Opponent kept their 7. Since we've got dorks and a coiling oracle, I think we're sort of fine bottoming one of our lands. We are going to need black mana for hostage taker, but I think I'm going to bottom the Vista here. All right, so forest into birds, and well, let's see what the opponent does. We could have turn 2 deputy, more likely turn 2 oracle. All right, I think we know what this means. Oh, well, fatal push is okay. Too early to say what we're playing against. Path could be good. We do need to get our colors online, though. So we would love for this to hit a land here. Okay, well, Ephemerate is a great card, but we're getting to that sketchy part of the game where opponent removes our dork and we stop drawing lands. So, all right, so this is some kind of taxes list. Eldrazian taxes. Maybe not, I guess. Could be black-white tokens, I guess. In which case, Deputy should just be a complete house, but we're missing our land drops, which is unfortunate. You know, I feel like I might be learning a lesson with this deck. Like a long, hard-earned lesson. Like, when you're mulliganing to 6, if you've got 3 lands in hand, just keep the 3 lands, all right? Keep 3 lands, 3 spells. Don't make it hard for yourself to actually curve out. If opponent goes like Lingering Souls here, again, we've got the Deputy, which should be great. Path, double path, probably a Liliana here. Ugh, okay. We have to hit cancel, and let's see. We can grab artifacts and creatures with this. So probably not the best in this matchup, since the creatures, I guess the creatures would just get exiled with Hostage Taker, so we have to discard a card here, and pretty sure I'm just going to get rid of the path, or at least one of the paths. All right, so opponent with the Liliana down. Their Bitter Blossom will kill them in 16 turns. Ah, not too fun. So killing the birds, excellent turn 1 play for the opponent. All right, so opponent gets to take a Deputy here, but we've got the Witness, so potentially not the end of the world. I think the biggest deal here now is Liliana. Opponent getting low on cards. They do have a silent clearing that they could cycle to draw another card. I think Deputy sort of makes this matchup firmly favorable for us. I'm going to pitch the path again. It's just no good. Opponent pitched a Plains and a Sword. Well, that's going to be rough unless we can somehow magically cast Hostage Taker right away, which we are not going to be able to do. All right, with the Sword down and with Liliana just ticking up and ticking up, I think I'm just gonna scoop this one, guys. Okay, so I think we went 4 draws without 5 if you count the Oracle without seeing a land. Just bad beats. All right, so what do we got against the opponent? Veil certainly gonna come in. Pithing Needle might be good enough. Celestial Purge, definitely good enough. Yeah, well, I mean, I still only had 2 mana, so I mean, I guess Astrolabe would have cycled one deeper. So what's not great in this matchup? Obviously, the paths are pretty poor. They do have those swords, but we have Knight of Autumn and we have Hostage Taker, which I guess I'll leave in since they have the swords and we're trying to test the Hostage Taker. Winds of Abandon seemed. Winds of Abandon, yeah, you're right. I had Ephemerates in hand. Winds of Abandon seemed like it should be pretty good against a tokens deck. Force gets rid of things like Lingering Souls and Liliana, so I can keep that. Seems kind of mid-rangey, so I can probably stay on Uro. Venser, maybe not the best. I can kind of mow down some tokens. Can win by bouncing lands, but I don't think it's that amazing. Honestly, Hostage Taker probably not at its best in this matchup, but I'll keep it in since we're testing it. So Pithing Needle for Liliana is the question here. It's a very important card, I think, on their side of the board. So if I were to bring in one Pithing Needle, I could take out it's the Hostage Taker, but I want to test it. So let's go ahead and submit the deck. And if we get blown out by Liliana, I guess we learned that Pithing Needle is probably worth bringing in against black-white tokens. Okay, the 1-land mulligan again. Pretty nasty. Okay. Opponent, again, keeping their 7. And yeah, I mean, this looks like a keep. If we get, I mean, I could like slow roll the birds. I wonder if I should put Stonehorn on the bottom or Urian on the bottom. Urian is higher impact for sure, but I don't have a lot of value to blink, but that's kind of what our deck's plan is. We can gain some time with Stonehorn if they start applying pressure, particularly with like a sword. Yeah, I think Urian just being too expensive. This will probably... I feel like it's got to be better to just pass with Veil up here. Opponent did keep their 7. We can just slow roll the birds until we have another green to hold up Veil. Could be wrong. Yeah, I mean, that seems pretty good. All right, that was nice. Okay, well, I guess we did want to draw lands here, right? So doesn't really matter too much what I do with these things here. Just play a Hallowed Fountain tapped, pass the turn. Although, if I draw Uro, I'd like to have the fetches in the yard. So play the Windswept Heath, play the birds, pass the turn. Play a bunch of tokens, I guess. Tide Hollow Sculler. So it would be nice if I had another Veil there. Witness would be a good draw for purposes of getting Veil of Summer back. Since we're playing Hostage Taker and Siege Rhino, probably want to get my black mana online. All right, so they took the Deputy. We can cast the Stonehorn next turn. Actually, yeah, I don't know. Getting basics is also a reasonable thing to do, but I don't think that's best here. Huh. Well, so I guess now we can play the Vista, go get, like, an island, and then we can go get, like, Canopy Vista. Again, filling up the yard in case we draw Uro, or if we want to cord for Uro at some point. So we're really not drawing the value half of our deck yet. We had a couple of utility creatures between Deputy and Stonehorn. And now we're sort of flooding, whereas last game we were completely just mono screwed. All right, Lingering Souls, fair enough. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. I'm fine continuing to thin the deck here. And not really afraid of their attacks at this point. Stonehorn, a little bit hard to kill for them. If they're playing push, they need to trigger Revolt. This clock will get annoying pretty soon. Okay, just flashing back the Lingering Souls. We do have a Deputy tucked away under Tidehollow Sculler. We've got a number of ways that we can deal with that. Like a Knight of Autumn can just blow up the Tidehollow Sculler. That would be pretty bonkers. Obviously, Chord of Calling, pretty good. I'm going to leave the Canopy Vista in the deck, since it would actually be a fine draw, I guess. Okay. This is pretty annoying. I think taking 4 is still fine, if that's what they want to do. Yeah, classic. It is classic. Jesus. All right, well. We've got a few combat steps here. Each opponent sacrifices a creature, create a 1/1 white, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I think I can sacrifice the birds at this point. And we go for the first Ephemerate here. If the opponent has a path, they could go for it. Second Ephemerate. Okay, so no attacks for the opponent, but if they play something like Liliana, the game is just like pretty close to being over. Wait, what? Didn't I just... What? Oh my god, I did it on the beginning of combat. That's pretty ridiculous. Alright, so they're skipping their next combat step. Huh. haven't done that in a while. So here's Bitter Blossom, making this this Deputy all the more important. Alright, opponent's gonna miss their next combat step and the following one since we're catching a rebound here. Pretty dumb. But still, like, we've still got life to work with. Any non-land would just be kind of magical at this point. Okay, all right. So, I mean, I'm not even going to be cute here. Just like go for it now. I think we do have another one in the tank though. So that might have been premature. We're going to check when it passes through their attack step. It should say that I have one more attack step faded. Okay, Gideon. Yeah, didn't shuffle enough. Yeah, I've got one more combat step in the in the tank, and then this one will add another one. So I've still got two. Two combat steps. So here comes the first one. First of two. I did bring in Winds of Abandon, in case anybody was wondering. Oh, they made Gideon into a creature. That's cute. All right, well, that's a start. Still have another combat step coming. Now, I could just cast Uro, which seems fine, again, since we have another combat step coming. Or I could just start getting the loop going. So I could just, like, get double Ephemerates going. That also seems fine. I think I'm going to go get that land now. I'm going to go back into their combat step. Pretty sure we have, yeah, I have one more combat step coming. Opponent does have Kaya's Guiles, though, so how do we want to play that with Uro? I feel like we kind of want to cast Uro here. Draw another card. Or maybe we Ephemerate, get back Ephemerate, and then just hold up Ephemerate. Seems kind of nice. Okay, so I have to play semi-fast. Opponent's Bitter Blossoms could just kill him. That's kind of funny. It's like a 6-turn clock from here. Turn Gideon into a creature again. There we go. Oh, he didn't. He just made a token. Okay. Haha, there we go. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could still cast Uro, can still escape Uro. But, I mean, your Ryan here just seems fine by itself. Hey, McDerp, welcome to the stream. Just grinding away here. Yeah, I think I'm fine. Like, continuing to fade attack steps. Opponent's Bitter Blossoms are just a nice win condition for us. And we get to get something back with Eternal Witness here. So Veil of Summer, just increasing our protection effects. double Ephemerate Veil, and the opponent can't attack. For anybody who came late to the stream, Tidehollow Sculler has my Deputy of Detention. All right, continuing to make pointless tokens. Inquisition, and we definitely just want to veil that. Kind of stupid of the opponent to cast that, but what else are they going to do? Actually, I should have ephemerated Urian on their main phase, but not really a big deal. I'm just going to ephemerate the Eternal Witness, get back the Veil of Summer. And you know what? I'll just ephemerate the Stonehorn right now. So now we just cast Uro. I mean, we could just pass the turn as well. When it's kind of a lock like this, and it's just the opponent's Bitter Blossoms killing themselves. So, don't really have attacks. So what should I do here? I guess I'll cast Uro just for fun. We lost the first game really fast, so we will have time for game 3. Double Ephemerate Veil, still both online. Actually, I guess... Oh, Soulherder, hey. How you doing? We don't need too much value here, so I'm just going to blink the Stonehorn. Excuse me. And I'm not even going to cast the Ephemerates anymore at this point. That's funny. Wait, did they? Yeah, I think they have. They know I have these in hand. They're just being silly. So now we have 2 in the bank at this point. I guess the opponent's scooping here. Okay, yeah, they're scooping. A classic Soulherder game right there. We still haven't gotten to cast Hostage Taker, and you know what? I think I'm just going to accept that this is a random matchup where Hostage Taker is just not good rather than forcing it. They do have like swords, or 1 sword maybe in the deck. Possible they have 2. Possible they have Stoneforge Mystic in the mix somewhere. And taking the sword away could be nice. I don't know. Maybe we should keep Hostage Taker in just for the funsies. Blanking their attack step seemed pretty good. In which case, like Spore Frog might want to come in. But I don't know. Like everything we had there seemed fine. Nyambi is another way to get like another Stonehorn trigger. Also, if the opponent tries to remove something important, we can always Chord for Nyambi to bounce it to our hand. Nyambi, again, sort of filling the Prince role, or trying to. So we'll keep playing Hostage Taker, even though I expect it to be pretty poor. Mulliganing. The opponent has kept all their 7s. And we have had to mulligan all of our 7s. The Purge should be pretty sweet. So I'm going to keep it in hand. Ugh. I mean, Chord of Calling is also pretty sweet. But yeah, we've got the Chord is just an expensive card that can come into play later in the game. We've got 3 in the deck. This is a 60 card list. All right, you got it, opponent. Use it while you can. We got Death Touch lands, and that's great. That's a good draw right there. Just got to get this ball rolling. Okay, well, we do have Knight in the deck. We do have Hostage Taker in the deck. We do have Path to Exiles. We've got the Celestial Purge. We just need to... Oh, they took the Witness. Interesting. You know, they could just play Liliana and make me lose my birds. So I think I'm just going to slow roll this Coatl. Next turn we can play birds plus Coatl. So... maybe they don't know Coatl very well and they won't attack into it. Yeah, and this is sort of fine. I think I'm going to pitch the birds here. Although it does fix our mana. So now I can flash in Coatl, see what I draw. Make an informed decision. Kind of like these Coatls, actually, guys. Gonna keep me in cards with creatures on the battlefield, get a lot of Death Touch established. So I could pitch the Forest. But I do like having lands in case, you know, we draw things that require lands. Particularly the Eternal Witness underneath that guy. So I'm gonna pitch the birds. Opponent pitched a Windbrisk Heights. Opponent getting frisky. We have to attack Liliana. It's just kind of something we have to do. Oh, come on. I think I'm going to main phase this and see what kind of lands I can draw. Okay. Opponent down to 2 cards. We are going to play the Overgrown Tomb. Although, let's see, if they remove this, they remove it. It's fine. It'll turn Death Touch off of the other one, so it's really not that important. I think that we play the 3rd Snowland here. All right, we saw the opponent pitched the Windbrisk Heights. Possibly they're a little bit flooded. Have to see what they do here. We're pretty close in time. I don't think this is going to get anywhere close to going to time. We do have mana for Hostage Taker at this point, which could grab the Tidehollow Sculler. So I don't know. Let's see what the opponent's working with. Doesn't seem like there's an obvious line for them here. They're kind of in the tank. That's actually pretty awesome. So yeah, pretty awesome indeed. So now they're going to minus, I imagine. Oh no, they're just plussing, which is fine. Pitch this Forest. And opponent is officially empty-handed with the Lingering Souls in the graveyard. So let's see what we can do, guys. What do we got on the top of the deck? Another land, not what I was hoping for. Gonna main phase again. See what we can get going. Yuck. All right, so let's see. The Spirits protecting Liliana, super annoying. Can't really get any good attacks here. But they can't really attack with the Tidehollow. We've got the Ephemerate up, so we can just chill a little bit. Eternal Wit. If we can get rid of this Tide Hollow Sculler, we do have the Purge in the graveyard, so Witness would be excellent. Opponent draws a land that they can cycle. Witness would be excellent. We're discarding a card. All right, seems fine. So I'm going to want to start keeping some lands in hand, particularly for that that situation here. Liliana could get pretty annoying pretty soon. We could also at this point cast Ephemerate so that Liliana's minus doesn't really matter. I mean, opponent was way ahead. Whoa. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry about that. I hit a wrong button. So I am back with audio now. I think I might have just said something like we need to not draw lands for a moment. Like, how is this Tide Hollow Sculler still on the battlefield? We got 3 paths. We've got Knight. We've got Hostage Taker. We've got 3 chords. This is fine. Really don't want this land anyway. I mean, something like Uro would just immediately stabilize. Opponent pitches Kaya's Guile. And Tide Hollow Sculler going down to 0 cards. I mean, might as well just do this. Well, let's see. Do we want to wait for any reason? No, I don't think so. So, I mean, the best thing here would be to draw a land or to draw, like, a, draw an Ephemerate would be, like, the best. Oh my god. Okay, well, that's a great draw. It's a really great draw. And we can deal with these Tide Hollow Scullers. We totally can. We have to deal with the Liliana first, though. So we really need an Eternal Witness. We can also use Nyambi if we draw like a Venser. We can pitch it and draw 2 cards if we feel like it. So even like Urian is pretty good here. Oh my god. I mean, we're at 14 life. We're still sort of okay. I'm gonna play the Temple Garden so I don't discard it. This is really absurd. Like, I have 7 lands on turn 6. That was my turn 6. Remember, with Liliana, we have to choose what we get blown up. That's really weird. Well, we've got no more basics in the deck, so there's that. Very weird choice there, but I guess it's fine. Is opponent going to separate my permanents? Come on, opponent, separate my permanents. Okay, all right. So I think first things first, like if we draw like an eternal, okay, let's just draw something to deal with Tidehollow Sculler. Give me a path. Give me anything. Not even asking for, like, a witness would be absurd. I mean, that's okay, but the opponent is just gonna wreck our stuff. We want to leave up like green and blue if we can, so let's go like white, that way, this way, and yeah, it's fine either way, I guess. All right, attack with your stupid spirits now, opponent. Cast like a Gideon and I can counter it. The weirdest draws. So opponent has to ultimate now, which is pretty ridiculous. All right, so they're gonna make a pile, and we have to. It's so funny. It doesn't. All right, that player sacrifice it. It's just like ... and it doesn't tell you. You think you're gonna choose the stuff you want to keep, but you're actually choosing the stuff that gets sacrificed. Right? So it's like I've seen this even in paper, like at a high level, maybe an SCG tournament or something, where an opponent, you'll like choose the pile, and then they'll be like, no, you have to sacrifice that pile. No, this is the pile that I want to keep. So sketchy. All right, so opponent's getting rid of all my lands, which is sort of fine because now I'm gonna let them kill all my lands. Have to do it. I need some defense. Ugh. All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. I can attack into Liliana now, and they can block with everything if they want. Then they have an attack back, but then I get hit with the sword. Seems poor, so I have to pass. Yeah, now we want to draw lands, and there's like no lands left in the deck. Thing is, we're going to have to discard this witness at some point, which is just like terrible. Attack with that thing, I guess, right? Oh my god. This is such a stupid game. And at this point, if I draw a path, I just have to path like the Icefang Coatl. Like my Icefang Coatl. I don't know that there's a way out of this, really. Land into another witness. See if we can figure out what's left in the deck. I think I have Temple Garden Canopy. I should still have my breeding pool. I think I should have now white lands. I do not have a fetchable white land. I don't have a fetchable white land. That's terrible. I might also not have a basic plains, and the basic plains is still in the deck. No, it's not. Here's my basic plains. So I don't think that there's any white mana left in the deck at this point. White, 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 white. And they're all in the graveyard. So I should have kept the Eternal Witness. This is terrible. Yeah, no, I do remember that for sure. But I have no white mana at all, so it was really stupid to keep the Deputy. I just wasted an Eternal Witness, which is sort of infuriating. But now we can pitch the Deputy because we can't even cast it at this point. I mean, if I draw into a Witness, I kind of have to get lands. They're just going to attack now, I think. No attacks? Okay. All right, I'm going to crack these things now. Wait, I have literally no lands to get? All right, I have to scoop, I guess. What a weird match. What a weird match. I didn't take a full inventory of my shocks over here, but apparently I have absolutely nothing that I can get. I would like to play that matchup again, though. I feel like it has to be sort of favorable. If the opponent wants to jump back in, it's fine with me. I did mulligan in every single game. I think I would have just lost the game if I chose to keep my lands. They would have just attacked twice and I would have just lost. Weird one to start the evening with. Very grindy and unsatisfying in the end. The second game was very satisfying. Anything else that I could have brought in that would have been decent in the matchup? I mean, I had a Celestial Purge from the get-go, but I think I was really slow into drawing into white mana, and actually, no, they Tide-Hollowed away my Eternal Witness, and then I never drew anything all game that could have dealt with it. Let's think about what could deal with a Tide-Hollow in the deck. I could flash in Iambi and block. I could flash in Death Touch and block. I've got 3 Path to Exiles. Deputy earlier would have done it. Knight could do it. Hostage could do it. Even Venser could do it. Any chords could get any of those things. But yeah, just didn't get the draws I needed. But it looks like we have an opponent again. I don't think it's the same opponent as last time, but this is quite a lovely hand that we can actually keep this time. Opponent's going to keep 7. They did win the die roll. Let's see what they play. Okay, so it's a Sanctuary matchup. The Path could get an Uro at some point. I'd like to draw... Well, there's a fetch. So, I think we'll go like... let's see. I guess Hallowed Fountain into Forest. Pretty typical. And I guess we'll probably... I mean, this looks like Monolith, right? It could also just be Ice Fang. So I guess the non-cowardly play is just to jam Oracle here, I think. And so I think that's what I'm going to go for. We could just hold up Coatl and cast it on their end step, or in response to Jace or something. So I fully expect a Coatl here, which is not going to be nearly as good as it was before today, since Astrolabe is banned. Banned. So we're going to get some white mana here? Nope, just green-blue. Guess they're going pretty hard on Uro. Okay, wish I had some mana up to path that guy. Imagine if I hit a land off of that Coiling Oracle. But we've got the path if they just go like straight up like escape Uro right away next turn. They do play a land. Good for them. Okay, land not terrible for us here. I'll go ahead and attack. Yeah, that's fine with me. I mean, we are trying to get to like Court of Calling, but we need to get that thing off the board at some point or another. And I will just go for another Coiling Oracle here. The Path to Exile. Now they know I have it in my hand, which is kind of annoying. But they don't know I have 2, which makes me kind of want to play the birds. Oh, what's happening here? Opt. Fair enough. So they know I have the birds. Now they just know that I have the path in hand. Opponent put something on the bottom. They play another land. And let's see if they can resist playing Uro. Petty Theft. Fair enough. Soulherder's nice. I think I'll just attack again. If they want to keep trading like resources, all of our creatures just replace. Oh, they can't even block with Brazen Borrower, so that's fine. They have not been countering my stuff. This could be representing Archmage's Charm, though. So at this point, I guess we just play the birds and hold up Coatl. End path. Yeah. Maybe they just have Brazen Borrower, which seems like it's probably pretty good for us if that's all they have. Yeah, so now I think I'll just go ahead and flash this thing in. And again, I would happily just trade for this creature if that's what they want to do. So I'm going to save these paths to battle over Uro. I haven't seen this card in Modern in forever. It's supposed to be one of the top decks in the format right now. So I might actually want to path this thing at this point. I don't know that 6 lands is super different from 5, and now that they've got something that we actually have to respond to, we could go ahead and chord for the night to blow it up. Then we have another chord to back it up. Yeah, if we path now, it kind of represents that we don't have path anymore, right? So hopefully they'd be like more inclined to just run out their Uro into path. Okay, so now they get to untap all their lands, which is fun, of course, for them. Frantic Inventory. Just drawing a card, right? Yeah, events are sort of okay. Could go Venser and then like Soulherder, like Venser on their turn. Kind of feel like courting. But if we're going to chord, we might as well chord on their turn, right? And I've got chord for 3 plus path, 1, 2, 3 plus 3, and then so I think I could still get in for damage here and then have path up plus chord for 3. Also, in theory, holding up Venser. Let's see what they do here. If they tap low, I can just Frantic Inventory. So they're going to draw 2 cards here. This might be my best opportunity to go for Court of Calling. You know what? I'm gonna sort of let it go. I mean, they're drawing a lot of cards here, which is not good for me. But they can't counter everything, right? All right. Looks like thinning the deck. Oh, Mystic Sanctuary, of course. Putting Cryptic Inventory back on top. Fair. Okay. Uro here, and I do have mana up to path and still get the knight. So 2, 3, yeah. And then I kind of tapped kind of weird there. They're forcing this, but now I can Venser the force if I want to. But I feel like letting this resolve is probably better because then I can just blow up the Wilderness Wreck and I've still got all these chords left over. If I Venser the force, Uro gets pathed, which is excellent for us. But then they get to untap all their lands, which just seems bad for us. We do have a path still in the graveyard, and we can just go get like an Eternal Witness. I'd like to get more blue mana too, so might have to go fairly low on the life total here. All right, so opponent's tapped out. Let's do some stuff next turn. Well, they could put a land in the battlefield, but not sure they can do too much with it. So we know that they have that frantic inventory in hand. So Soulherder seems excellent to get down. Let's see, if we chord 1, 2, 3, and then 4, go get Eternal Witness, we can blink Soulherder, get back path. Soulherder, get back path. We can chill on the Soulherders for the time being, I think. I like pathing this thing now, but they've got the those forces. Oh, you know what? We could go get Hostage Taker. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we can't quite cast their Uro. Oh, but it's not good with Uro, actually. Okay, all right. So another force, making good use of those cards. He pitched Remand. Decent follow-up with Soulherder here. We don't have Death Touch with Ice Fang, not even particularly close to it. I don't think our life total is relevant at this point, so I will go ahead and blink the Coiling Oracle. Okay, now we have a Force of Negation that the opponent knows about. I do like Soulherders in this spot. If we get multiple blinks, doesn't look like the opponent's running board wipes. Sort of fine just getting in the chump here. Although we could probably wait one more turn, I guess. I'm pretty sure we know that the opponent has one of those frantic inventories in hand. I mean, they've got one of them in their graveyard and 2 cards in hand. I feel like we've got to go for this here. Venser is a win condition, but I like going big on Soulherder here. If they counter this, whatever, like, you know, we have to do what we can do. Okay, so they're going to draw 2 cards. They're going up to 3. We've got another Soulherder in hand. We can draw two cards of our own. Opponent putting Frantic Inventory back on top of the deck. They still have 2 cards in hand. pass the turn. Ephemerate is a decent draw. I am going to get in with the 2 creatures I'm going to blink. Opponent could counter my Soul Herder. Seems somewhat unlikely. They could just Cryptic tap my team, in which case Ephemerate to the rescue, I guess. Slow-ass clock here, though. Could opponent have another counter spell? They do. Good for them. Okay. I feel like I need to keep this Ephemerate in hand in case they try to Cryptic tap my team and I can't block. So I will again blink the Coiling Oracle. Archmage's Charm, and they're going to draw that when they attack with Uro. All right, so I need to get Ephemerate off now. Okay, they're going to draw 2 cards, right? Including the Archmage's Charm. Okay, so if they spend Archmage's Charm for this, that's sort of okay, right? I mean, we should still just chump. All right, so I think here we're just going to chump with the Knight. I don't know. Gaining life seems somewhat relevant, so... If we could have gotten that second Soul Herder down, it would have been really sweet. And this Urian could be even sweeter. We kind of like them countering an Ephemerate here so that we can resolve Urian. We are a little bit behind on time. Opponent went bottom, and apparently they drew something. But we can just cast it again. Seems decent. Okay, they're countering it. Fair enough. I'm going to lose one of my cards that already replaced itself. Not the best, but we do get to blink it and make a Soul Herder huge. The last card in their hand is not a counter. Another counter spell, right? Okay. I think now I can just leave Soul Herder up if I want to go that way. Petty theft. Well, that's pretty gross. Okay. Well, actually, blinking the birds doesn't really matter now, right? So just say done on the Knight.
and continue grinding. Opponent has no more Mystic Sanctuaries. They're running out of lands. Wait, what are they doing? Oh, they're casting this thing. Okay, fair enough. So I'm going to gain some life. And Soulherder's about to get nasty on these guys if they don't draw something else good. They've been drawing lots of good stuff so far. I feel like the birds can get thrown under the bus here. I can get like an Eternal Witness. Double Soulherder. Attack with Urian and then play double Soulherder. We blink it on end step, comes right back. Seems good. Of course, if they draw a Cryptic, they can tap my team and just like win at some point, which is kind of rough. Did that backwards. Wait, I think I did backwards. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm kind of messing up these triggers. I am messing up these triggers. Yeah, I should have attacked with the knight. You're right. So this is kind of rough because I'm not going to blink the knight right now. It's kind of messed it up. So I'm just going to say done. I have to do my triggers better next time. I was unprepared for this. We want to target Urian first and then target the other creature second. They have more than enough to escape again, so probably don't want to kill the Uro. Probably just chump with the knight, even though it's not that good. Could probably just take 6 from Uro here. I should have attacked with the knight, definitely. Okay, so they're drawing 3 cards off that. Pretty sick. I don't know if we can beat the value that they've got unless we draw like an Eternal Witness right away and they don't have something to counter it with. Somehow I've ended up with no card draw with Soulherders on the board. All right. I think we might be getting killed here. Well, I guess that's what we go for, and then get Ephemerate if it resolves. They have to have a counterspell in their 8,000 cards in hand. I mean, tapping my creatures maybe not the most impactful thing. Oh, they have more. I mean, I'm still not dead. If they probably should have done it with the Orion. Okay, so we'll scoop it up, guys. And I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. That was game 2. I think it's game 2, right? It couldn't possibly be game 1. Oh, I guess it's game 1, or maybe I won game 1. I think that was probably game 1. I'll be right back. All right, so let's see. Teferi is the nuts here. Veil of Summer also quite good. Wilderness Reclamation is a 4-drop. Cryptic Command is a 4-drop. I feel like bringing in more counterspells is probably pretty good. Winds of Abandon, you know, they assembled a bit of a board, including Uro, so maybe Winds of Abandon is good, particularly with Teferi. You can cast it on the opponent's turn. I think that would be it, though. Nyambi, I don't know. There's no board wipes here, I think. Nyambi can come out. We definitely want... I'm going to keep Hostage Taker in. I would love to cast like one of their snakes. Knight to blow things up. Deputy to hold on to things a little bit. Our own Uro seems okay. Eternal Witness is nutty. Venser. Stonehorn, not super necessary. Urian did work. I like the birds. Maybe Trim. Well, Path against Uro seems pretty good. So, I don't know. Maybe I can trim one Path, though, because there's very few threats in the deck. Let's see. I mean, Deputy is sketchy. Oh, I have to hurry up. Trim one of those, and trim one of these, and hit submit. Ran out of time. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. Are you talking about wins? Like bringing in wins or not bringing in wins? Just another way to exile an Uro. I mean, this would be awesome if I had a couple of lands and I had Teferi and Oracle, but we have to mulligan. All right, this is better. I don't think my opponent... I have had... Opponent have not mulliganed at all. I'm going to bottom the Soul Herder for now. I'm fully aware that... I mean, if I win this game... I don't think I have won a game yet, right? That was the first... All right, so I'm going to, again, not make the... I'm going to make the brave play and run this out into Mystical Dispute in the hopes of ramping my mana. If they have Mystical Dispute, it'd be pretty good. Nice. So next turn we can hold up whatever, everything. Everything's instant speed here now. Don't have a swamp to get, but we can go get a forest. I'll get an island, whatever. Opponent's thinking if they want to trade their Coatl for my Oracle. Next level plays. And I'm going to run out the birds. Maybe they have the inventory. No, it looks like they have opt. They went to the bottom with opt. They're scrying again with opt. And they went to the bottom again with opt. Opponent playing frantic inventory. We're going to let that resolve. Looks like they may have found a land off of that. Green doesn't scare us at all. Gonna flash in our dude here. So I'll get my my overgrown tomb here. Why not? An ephemerate would be dope off the top. Maybe they have a veil. Thinking about cycling it. Don't want to draw any more lands for a little while. Hey. So I've got Teferi plus force up here, right? I love it. I'm gonna go get my trusty Canopy Vista. And going to attack. And we're going to go white, blue, green, and we've got blue up for this force right here. Come on, opponent. Force away. Nice. Okay, let's take this guy up. Although I could also just bounce my Coatl and then play it back next turn. Let me play it on the opponent's turn. We've also got Disdainful Stroke up still. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like trying to get ahead with the Coatl. I'm going to draw a card off of this also. Oh, Uro is pretty sick. If they go Wilderness Wreck, we can just pitch to force. I think just getting our own Uro going here is really nice. I've got to play fast, so I'm not going to like second guess every single decision. Nice. That's going to turn Uro on because it's the fifth card, the fifth non-Uro card in the graveyard. Gonna let it go or counter it. They've got one in the graveyard. Fine. Do it, opponent. True. That's true. Good call. So I've just got to play fast and try to beat down. All right, opponent just scoops. I like it. I can dig it. Nice. Good game. So as I was saying during sideboarding previously, Teferi is definitely the nuts here. Anything I'm messing up here? Do you guys feel like the Winds of Abandon is kind of stupid? I mean, they do have these tempo beats, right? Like they've got their Brazen Borrowers, Teferi, the snakes. I mean, maybe Path is just better than Winds, right? Let's take the Winds out. We are behind on time. What are you saying? Oh yeah, path over wind. So we have 3 paths in. Maybe we can sneak an Iambian. Oh wait, where did this Disdainful Stroke? It should be in the deck. I really like having counterspells in hand. What do we trim to make the room though? I don't know, Venser on the draw is a little bit rough, but it's also a nice win condition. I think I'll just keep that path out, and Disdainful Stroke just seems a little bit better. Still have 2 paths in the deck. Let's go. No mulligans for maybe the first time this evening. All right, we can work with this. Opponent, of course, did not mulligan either. All right, almost exactly 9 minutes. Let's go. Opponent went to the bottom with their opt. To ferry off the top, please. But opponent's kind of representing counterspell. Another fetch. Yuck. All right, we're going to go shields down on force for the moment. All right, you got it, opponent. Force, not shields down. Is this an Uro? Maybe not. Looks like Archmage's Charm. I think Breeding Pool is fine here. Maybe, yeah, Breeding Pool. Jesus, need to stop drawing lands. Shields down. Right, play our land. Shields down. I mean, maybe this is poor, but we. All right, Hostage Taker's cool because now if they go Wilderness Wreck, even though I've got the Knight in hand, I don't want to let them untap with it and hold up a whole bunch of counterspells. So I probably will pitch going Remand on top here. Just passing through. So the Remand is on top of the deck because they probably don't want me to cast this Hostage Taker. Let's start by attacking with the Coiling Oracle. Now I might just play out the Knight of Autumn here as a like a beatdown plan. Cryptic, counter, and drawing. Fair enough. We do want to get things in the graveyard for Uro, and we do want to thin the deck a little bit. Got that Canopy Vista we can get. Opponent continuing to pass does not make their land drop this turn. Now we can just hardcast Force, so... Ephemerate is quite nice. Want to hold up hardcast Force plus Ephemerate, so I'll play it just like a basic here. And let that resolve. Haven't seen any Snapcaster mages in this match yet. I think the opponent knows about the Ephemerate and the Hostage Taker. Sanctuary going for Cryptic, of course. We've got our Force, though. It's going to be an Uro. Wilderness Wreck. Ah, that seems like a good target for this. Oh, my bad. What am I doing? Blue, blue, green. Opponent doesn't know about this card. They do know about the Ephemerate, and that was a nice counter there. Gotta hustle. Have to hustle quite a lot. Opponent has 7 cards in hand. What is this gonna be? 1 mana, 1 blue mana. Dismembering. Fair enough, opponent. We will main phase this. That's sick. I love it. We know that they're drawing a Cryptic Command, so possible that I should... well, I guess we'll have to see how it goes. A remand, not the end of the world here if they have it in hand. Maybe they were banking on the extra land drop, maybe. I'm pretty sure we know they have a Cryptic in hand. Remand. Okay. Like Soulherder would be okay. Chord is nice. Okay. So chord for Orion here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? Hang on a second. They have a Cryptic. We don't know if they have a Force. They don't have mana for Uro yet. So I'm going to just cast this now, and if they have the Force, so be it, I guess. Okay, sick. Oh, wait. Let's play this. And I'm going to take the damage. So they know about the birds, I think, but not about the Siege Rhino. All right, we got 6 power on the board. Opponent currently not able to cast Uro. They do have a Cryptic in hand. We do have Venser though, which they know about. They also know about Hostage Taker, I believe, and this Ephemerate is out. So they know about the birds and the Hostage Taker and the Venser. Wilderness Wreck, probably going to be kind of annoying. All right, they just cast Uro from hand. That seems like it's got to be pretty good for us. Seems like they might be trying to draw into lands. Well, they do have a land there, and they haven't played one for the turn yet, I think. So just pass the turn with 3 mana up, and we're just going to go straight to combat. And I think we're just going to play a Siege Rhino 1, 2, 3, 4 and hold up Venser. Remember, we can Hostage Taker our own stuff. They know we have the Venser. I'm going to Venser their Archmage's Charm if that's what they go for. And they can force, I guess. Oh, they can't force this. Okay. Opponent's going to cast Uro here, which may or may not be good, because we can hostage take it. Sanctuary, putting, I'm sure, Archmage's Charm on top of the deck. But we might just have lethal past this Uro. And block, yeah, I think we do. I think we do. They're choosing not to use it. So if they bounce something, it's possible we have bad attacks, but I'm just going to hostage take their Uro and see if they counter it. And then I can always just ephemerate the Siege Rhino. Or ephemerate Venser to just counter whatever they play here. Screenshot for the Soulherder Discord. What do you got, opponent? Let me have it. Okay. So now we... I mean... Ephemerate Venser seems good. If they've got the Force, they got the Force. But they don't have the Force. So now I guess I get to take their Uro, which is kind of nice. Don't scoop, opponent. Let me take your Uro. Come on. All right, they scooped. So, Hostage Taker for the win. Yes, very lethal on board. All right, that game went much better. I think we cast a Knight of Autumn, and they either Crypticed it or Archmage Charmed it. I guess the fear being that we're gonna like blink it with Soulherder or with Ephemerate, because they didn't have a Wilderness Reclamation out at that point. Let's see. I forced the Wilderness Reclamation that they tried to cast. So this is what happens when you run just straight blue-green to try to get Uro out on the battlefield now that they don't have Astrolabe. They don't play white, which means that you're stuck like Merfolk playing Dismember, and obviously hit their life total there. Well, nice. That one went well. I feel like we should have won against black-white tokens, but I got totally mono-screwed, and then I drew like 8,000 lands in the next game. I'd really prefer not to play that matchup again, so I don't really feel like jumping back in. But yeah, Hostage Taker is value. I mean, if the opponent had nothing going on and it was another situation entirely, like we could have just blinked our own Siege Rhino and then cast it again with mana of any color. So 1, 2, 3, 4 would have been nice. Yeah, nice card. Really flexible, I think. Okay, that's a different opponent, so let's go ahead and try to join up. No mulligans. All right, I'm gonna keep this. Could get punished hard. I'm gonna go get green-white. And then if it's something like Prowess, then at least we still have Path in hand. Yes, that is correct. That is correct, sir. Spire Bluff could be Storm. It could be this new Prowess deck, and we drew that land right on time. Sick. I kind of like ramping. So let's go ahead and play this Birds of Paradise and just hold up Ice Fang for now. That island was pretty clutch right there. Opponent is super F6'd here. If they play like a Storm creature, then I can Flashing Coatl and just path on my turn. Or they could play that silly little dragon. Okay, so Baral's going to get pieced out. It gets him closer to 4 mana for, well, either way. But Baral reduces the cost on everything. Path just gives him 1 more mana, so pretty easy choice. Land? Path, another path. I kind of like that. So with double path, we can just pause on their upkeep and try to counter. If they go like Remand, we can cast it again. I mean, we could also just play I don't know. Play Uro now and see what we hit. Can't just sit back on Siege Rhino is a little bit too sketchy. I mean, it would be awesome if they didn't go off next turn, but that's kind of what Storm does. Really, really want to land. All right, we didn't hit it. At least Deputy is kind of an out to like empty the warrens if that's the way they decide to go. And at this point, since we don't have multiple and we don't like multiple mana up or force to back up the path, I think I'm just going to path right now. And I'll just sort of get in for 1, I guess. It's always scary playing against Storm. They could have another cost reducer in hand and just go off right now with anthems. Not anthems, what is it called? Rituals. Opponent cast Serum Visions. They haven't played a land yet. That island is from the path. It's kind of rough. I mean, we could just play out a Deputy and hold up Ephemerate. They went top here. We do have another path. Steam Vents tapped. All right. We really, really want to land. Grape Shot. Ugh, okay. That's pretty disgusting, actually. All right, so Bird's down. We can always path our own Coatl if that's what we want to do. But they did go top, which means that their plan is going to get advanced here. Grape Shotting my 2 birds is really nasty. All right, so this is clearly gifts ungiven. And I think we just have to Ephemerate here. So a Braid or Lightning Bolt or whatever. If they want gifts right now, they can do that. Seems unwise, though, if I'm playing Force. Okay, well, now they don't have gifts anymore, I guess. It's awkward. That is one of the best draws that we could have possibly hit. So I'm going to attack. Of course, pitching Deputy is really awkward because Grape Shot is in the graveyard, so if they try to go off and they have, like, Empty the Warrens in hand, I'd really hate to pitch Deputy to Force. But yeah, I don't know. They got 2 of our mana sources, like double Stone Rain with a Grape Shot. Okay, they're doing it on our turn, so they are going to have 4 mana here. Interesting. Okay. So we can try to force the like the Past in Flames. I mean, I guess I might as well just Ephemerate now. No, I don't know. I guess maybe Path is more valuable if they seem like they're playing Let's see. Let's see how it goes. All right, so this is going in the graveyard. Put one of the rituals. If they cast Past in Flames from hand, we're just going to try to force it. As I've said already, I really don't like pitching Deputy, so I think we're just going to path this Electromancer. All right, going off on top of the path. The path is going to resolve. And the Metamorphose is going to resolve. We know that they have the Past in Flames in hand. So come on, no remand, I guess. This is why we run Force in the deck. There's only 2 of them in the main deck right now, but looks like it might have gotten us another turn. Grape Shotting, sort of okay. I'm sure they're going to get rid of my Coatl, which sort of rough since, yeah, they're getting rid of the Coatl. Okay, guys, let's hunker down a little bit. The opponent's on 1 card in hand. And not exactly, okay, there we go. All right, land is nice because we can play a 4-3. Start getting in. I'm going to get the Overgrown Tomb. All right, Knight of Autumn, take it home. Opponent up to 2 cards. Okay, that's a redraw. Should probably just crack it right now, not too much to think about. Hey, Nyambi, sort of cool, I guess. Sort of, kind of, gaining life, not really. If they do have spot removal for Knight of Autumn, I see Ephemerate, it's probably just... Nyambi gets on the board, starts attacking, I guess. Okay, opponent plays a land. Oh, we can just flash her in now and not bounce. That's a nice option. All right, let's see how this goes. Birds can close things out with a Siege Rhino, maybe, I guess. Because this is not quite lethal. 6 into 7. Opponent plays another Shivan Reef, passes the turn. We go to combat. And Siege Rhino time. Do it. Yes. Love it. Deal with it, Storm. Double Grape Shot means nothing to me. Nothing to me. Yes, Force of Negation, definitely the jam, the bomb, the bee's knees in this matchup. Disdainful Stroke hits gifts, and it hits Past in Flame, so definitely worth. Winds of Abandon, also worth it to get rid of 1,000,000 goblins. Veil of Summer stops Remand, I guess. Also stops them from bouncing things with Repeal, is something they like doing. I think Veil is probably worth bringing in. Burrington, not so great because it targets like 1 Grape Shot or 1 Goblin. Spore Frog, not so good. Purge could be good if we see like Arya, but probably not necessary since we've got Knight of Autumn to deal with that. Teferi is like, I guess Teferi's probably pretty good. Even if it's not amazing, still seems pretty good. All right, so it's a combo deck. Let's take out some slow stuff. Hostage Taker, obviously not great in the matchup. Vents are another sort of like counterspell effect. Niobe was kind of fun there. Leaving in the removal. True. Good call, Mr. Walked Airplane. Also, welcome to the stream, Mr. Airplane. I haven't seen you here before. So we got to take 5 cards out. I think Urian is too slow. Too slow by far. We're not bringing in any creatures, and there's not too many. I guess we'll keep all the cords in. Let's see what else we can take out. I do like Siege Rhino as a nice win condition. I guess Stonehorn out. Let's see if we get run over by goblins. We do have Deputy, right? So Deputy just deals with it. 3 more cards out. I guess, I mean, they don't have a lot of removal, so Soulherder is quite strong when decks don't have a lot of removal. I feel like we could trim 1 cord, since we're not bringing in a lot of targets. And yeah, they grape shot at our dorks, and that would just totally annihilate Cord's utility. Nyambi was pretty poor, apart from just attacking. And what else? I don't know. Whatever. 1 Ice Fang. Doesn't really matter. Well, that's cool, Airplane. I'm glad to have you here. Glad to have you in the Discord. The sand seems fine. A little slow since we're on the draw, but you know, what else are we hoping to draw? I mean, we've got 2 guys that'll replace themselves. Two guys or gals, I guess. All right, well, we do want to stop drawing lands at some point. We're going to go get blue-white with this, and if they play like Baral, we'll just immediately path it. Only 1 cord is a reasonable call. All right, so you got your Baral. I'm just going to do this right now, not even go to the end step. Got no respect for this Baral character. Patharuni. So Counterspell would be awesome, so that we can get like Eternal Witness going. Maybe like an Ephemerate. We are going to go Oracle next turn. And even though we do want to stop drawing lands, just hitting like right on time with, actually, I mean, ramping. I mean, let's play Oracle next turn. Well, if we play the birds here, then we can go like Witness plus Path next turn, which also seems like pretty strong. But we saw how they killed our birds last time. Now, what's the plan here? If they just untap, play a land, pass to us representing gifts, really not a lot we can do. I do like drawing cards here, though. Like, we want to get to one of those forces, or at least like a Disdainful Stroke. So let's just go ahead and play this Coiling Oracle here. Hopefully ramp into a green land that can play this birds. All right, well, Court of Calling, a little bit slow here, but if we can continue to develop the board, next turn we can even just cast a birds and an Ice Fang, since Eternal Witness is a little bit unnecessary here. All right, this is actually quite nice if we can get like a Deputy or a Knight on the table. Opponent knows I have the Court of Calling. They don't have Remand up. Ooh. Love it. Teferi can just bounce that Arya, right? We gain 10 more life. That's pretty sick. So we do need to play a land that can make blue or white mana, so let's not mess that up. Yeah, that's a good call, man. Thanks a lot for that. Opponent could totally bring in Mystical Dispute, which would just blow me right out of the water right here. But whatever. We still have Cord, you know, like if they counter the Teferi, they can't counter everything. We've got a lot of life to work with. I think I'll just get a Temple Garden here. Yeah, Temple Garden seems good. All right, no Mystical Dispute with the 3 cards the opponent has left in hand. Come on, one time. Bring it home, Teferi. Oh, don't do it. Don't do it to me, opponent. Ah! All right, well, they do have 2 cards in hand, and we need only 2 more things on the table to be able to cast this Chord of Calling. Yuck. All right, we do have the Eternal Witness as well, so it can come back. Opponent's going to have 3 after drawing. We can still, still have like Deputy off the top, Knight off the top. Opponent, what are you doing here? What do you got? They went top bottom. And what do you got now? Monomorphos. Ugh, okay, well, gonna start doing some damage with this Aria pretty quick. If we can live to get a Chord off, Baral, we can go get Path. And, oh, they're just going straight to it. Ugh. Now we got 2 things we have to deal with. Well, this is only game 2, and now we know about Aria. Wow, they had that Mystical Dispute, guys, and we didn't have the Force in hand. Huh. Opponent empty-handed. Let's assume if they draw land next turn, we're set to take 11. We can double chump. It doesn't quite get us there. We can play Witness, get Path Baral, block 2 things. It would only take 8, but then we're losing our board to be able to Chord. Let's see. I could also just, let's see, if I Coatl here, still can't draw into anything super meaningful. True, I couldn't have forced in my turn. Good call. So it didn't matter there. So as far as 2 drops, we took out Nyambi, which can't really gain us life meaningfully here. Soulherder doesn't do a lot except block a goblin. It blocks a goblin effectively, though. So go like Soulherder birds, actually. Maybe it sort of gets us somewhere. Of course, if they draw any spell, I think we're just dead. This is very silly, like trying to hang on here. But, we're not totally out of it. Block 2 things, take 9. We have to block 3 things, unfortunately. Oh, now we only have to block 2 things. I feel like mana is more important than the... Actually, this will put us... this is going to put us so we can't crack the Vista. Oh, no. Maybe we do need to keep blinking this Oracle, though. I don't know. We do... Oh, yeah, because we're going to have Soulherder chilling around, all right? So, okay, all right. Yeah, it does. It does. If we can live here, that would be decent. Opponent slow rolling like a bolt or something. So, we get Deputy. And we get rid of these gobos. And then we go to the end step. And we blink the Deputy. And we gain 10 life. Actually, we don't, but if the opponent wants to play it again. 0 cards in hand. 0 cards in hand. Gaining some life. Gaining some life. Yeah, but it would put Arya back on the battlefield, right? It would put Arya back on the battlefield, which we don't really want. I mean, whatever. At this point, I don't. Let's see. This puts me outside of bolt range, which is kind of nice. And now I can cord if I feel like it for something nice, but I have to crack lands to do it. I guess I blink Deputy and gain 10 life, so that's all good. Yeah, I think the line you guys are talking about was probably better. I can't really pause to think about it right now. So now we've got cord up for 2 if we want it. We can have cord for Venser actually now. But not like right now. Our opponent just conceded. Wow. That was pretty busted actually. That was pretty two awesome games against Storm. Jesus Christ. All right. Sometimes I like to go back and just watch the quick replay. Nikachu has his get dunked on instant replay. Let's go ahead and check that out real quick. Oh, that was awesome. At 1 life. I love it so much. So we should have gone 3-0 tonight, but randomly just like drew like garbage against black-white tokens. All right, let's sit back and enjoy the show here. Excellent hand to start things off with. We can analyze the hand that you guys were, not the hand, the line you were talking about with goblins versus Arya and the sequencing with Deputy. All right, so Path coming in pretty clutch there. I mean, tonight the balance, I mean, I've only played 3 matches tonight, so it's a small sample size, but, you know, it's part of a much, much larger sample size with this deck. And Teferi would have been the nuts here. So opponent had the Mystical Dispute for Teferi. They had the Arya. I was starting to say that I feel like the balance of interaction is sort of fine right now with the 3 paths and 2 forces. Okay, so opponent went Serum Vision, started hitting me with this Arya Flame. They are pretty low on cards. 3 cards at this exact moment. They monomorphosed, pushing a bunch of damage with that Arya. Things starting to look fairly grim at this board state. Empty-handed to make exactly 10 goblins, I think, right? So I think actually, guys, what might have gotten them, I think, in the match, if I just pause it here for a second, was not attacking with Baral. Like, it's such a weak move not attacking with Baral. I don't even think I didn't have a creature that could have even like killed Baral. I think this is the screenshot here. Sorry, guys. So let's go back here. The reason I didn't take the screenshot at 1 life is because this is really the critical moment, right? Because if they attacked with Baral, I'd have to block 3 things, right? Because they'd be attacking for 11, and if I only block 2 things, I would take 9 and go to 0, right? But by only attacking with 10, I get to leave Soulherder plus a Dork on board, block with 1. Sorry, block with Soulherder and 1 Dork, leave Soulherder and the other creature on the battlefield, take 8, go to 1, and then just go bananas, right? That was quite a game. I'm sorry, Jackie Chen, let's see. It wouldn't matter if you were going to get Deputy from Cord, because then you would have to reverse the order in what? Because then you would have to reverse the order in to survive. I'm sure you're saying in order to survive. No, I mean, if they attacked with Baral, I have to block with Oracle, right? And then I wouldn't be able to Cord because I'd be at 1 life and I can't crack Vista, right? So I'd only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can only go get a 2-drop. And again, I drew a fetch, so I'd be stuck on only cording for 2, not cording for 3, which was the really critical thing, right? So check this out, right? I corded for exactly 3. Couldn't have done that if Baral attacked. So we get Deputy. Now, let's think about this for a second. If I get Arya here, yeah, so what I was saying, I think what both of us were saying, chat and myself, a few people in chat were saying, here, if I get rid of Arya now, and then go to the end step, get rid of the goblins, I do gain 10 life. Arya comes back to the battlefield, so comes back to the battlefield, I gain 10 life at that point, the goblins go away, but the opponent gets to untap with Arya. They have 2 cards in hand, and I'd be at 11 life. I just don't like even giving them the option to go, like, Monomorphos, Serum Visions, something else like Lightning Bolts, and just get a whole bunch of Arya triggers. True. I do know that one of them is not that. Good point. I like the analysis. All right, so Soulherder, got a whole bunch of triggers. And so doing it this way, I am stuck at 1 life, I guess. Just pass. Oh, I see. I'm clicking through too many turns here real fast, and that's the game at that point, right? Like, I gained 3 life by playing Uro. The opponent drew just like they whiffed. They drew a Goblin Electromancer. I got to get in a nice attack, and then not really sure there was much more going on past that. I mean, I guess it's possible. I guess you're right. Like, they could have top decked a Lightning Bolt, and I would have lost, right? So probably better to play the odds and take the Arya first, so that I gain the 10 life. We know that that the card in their hand was probably either Electromancer or a land. Or it must have been an Electromancer or land, since here they're empty-handed and they've played a land and they've played Electromancer. So okay, yeah. So good catch on the line. I think, yeah, it's absolutely unlikely, and it's actually much more likely that they just draw a single Lightning Bolt and just hit me when I'm at 1 life. So I did go shields down with the line that I chose to take. Shields down against Lightning Bolt for exactly 1 turn, because the following turn, I had Uro, I think, or I don't know if I drew into it. I had a Cord that could have gone and gotten a Deputy to gain some life, or a Siege Rhino. That's probably even better, I guess. But wow, what a game that was. I'm glad you guys were able to join me for it. Here we get to blink the Deputy, and this is where we gained life. That was why shields were only down for 1 turn. I knew I was going to be able to nab Arya the turn after and gain the life that way, but you guys are totally right. Like, I shouldn't have put myself dead to Lightning Bolt. Anyhow, that's the replay. 2-1 for the evening. It was a pretty bad beat. The match that we lost against in the first round against Black White Tokens, just like really bad draws.
And I think that's going to be it for this evening. What do you guys think about Hostage Taker? It only got to come out and play in one game out of 3 matches. That's kind of what happens with Singleton sometimes. But it did kind of win the game against Black-White Control. I mean, we were leaning really, really hard on them, and I'm not sure what they could have had in hand with 3 mana to have us not win. It's possible that they could have had like a... They could have had a Brazen Borrower to bounce the Orion. Then they could have eaten the Siege Rhino with Uro, and then they would have only been taken like 4 damage or something like that. So possible that my Alpha Strike wouldn't have just won the game. So since they had Uro as that blocker, and they were representing something like Brazen Borrower, so playing Hostage Taker, representing just removing their only blocker, they had no answer for that, so the game just ended on the spot. I'm really intrigued by the card. I'm going to continue playing more with it. Actually, tonight was sort of invigorating. Haven't played much Soul Herder apart from the stream last week since then. So, any closing thoughts? What do you guys think about the balance of Path to Exile, Force of Negation? Anything in the sideboard that I'm missing that you guys think I should absolutely have or have more of? Deck was a lot of fun tonight. It wasn't too fun when I was flooding, but otherwise, we also mulliganed a lot. I think I mulliganed in all but like maybe 2 games or something. Loving the selection of toolbox creatures I have access to. Running 4 birds felt fine. There wasn't really a situation where I was missing the Exalted from Noble Hierarch. Uro, really excellent tonight. Just did a great job. Not sure if I escaped him, but the threat was there in one of the games against Control. I'm pretty certain. Stonehorn just won a game against Black-White Tokens. They had like a bazillion creatures, and they just died to their own Bitter Blossoms. Urian actually seemed quite nice. I was talking about potentially trimming Urian as one flex slot that might be one too many in order to like bump up our interactive spells. But Urian just seems, I don't know, it just seems so fun and so awesome in this deck. So Paintball, what are you saying? Definitely seems a bit weak to Amulet, but I don't know how popular that will be. I'm sorry, are you saying Hostage Taker seems weak to Amulet? And if so, you mean this build with Amulet, or my balance of Path and Force must be what you're talking about? Or my sideboard, I guess. Maybe my sideboard is a little bit weak to Amulet. Well, Hostage Taker is slow, but it does take Prime Time. It does take Dryad. It does take Amulet. So the interaction with Hostage seems quite nice. What else? We've got Spore Frog as sort of an extra Stonehorn dignitary. Worship is also pretty good against Amulet. Winds of Abandon, pretty good. Stonehorn, obviously pretty good. Knight blows up the amulets. I mean, so in what way could we make the deck stronger against Amulet? I think our deck is just always a little bit weak to those kinds of like go gigantic decks like Tron and Amulet. So possible that having a 4th Path to Exile would skew the deck slightly. You know what? Maybe I should trim one of these Celestial Purges and put the 4th Path to Exile in that spot. I don't really think so. I think Purge is just really great when we want it. That's why it's one of the few cards that I actually have 2 of in the sideboard, because it just kills really difficult things like Liliana of the Last Hope, Liliana of the Veil, kills Ren and 6. So I think I'll stay on 2 Celestial Purges. Ether Gust or Ashiok? Sure. Yeah, I do like Celestial Purge a ton. Disdainful Stroke was quite nice this evening. It was really good against Control. It was really good against that last deck that we played, which was Storm. Collector Oof, I don't know. It's kind of flex at this point. Not really sure it's strictly necessary. I mean, Urza decks should become slightly less prevalent in the format, so I could totally see trimming Collector Oof for like an Ether Gust. You know, honestly, I don't think I've ever cast an Ether Gust. It's kind of a hard card to evaluate. It's obviously an amazing card. I understand that it's an amazing card, but it can be easy to miss, I think, just how strong it is, right? So maybe we can chat for a second about Ether Gust and why it is so good. So let's see, if the opponent casts like a prime time, and even through Cavern, I guess, we can just put it back on top of the deck, right? So it's not even a counter spell, which is the first thing that it's great. It doesn't get hit by Veil of Summer, so that's pretty huge. So yes, gets around uncounterable is significant. It also sort of is. You can consider it. It's, I don't know if you call it a 2-for-1, but it does take the opponent's draw step away for the next turn, since it. Oh wait, no, they get to choose to put it on top or bottom. So if they want it on top, then in that case, it does take away their draw step for the next turn. It's kind of a classic effect in Magic. I can't remember what the really classic counterspell is. Delay, I think, right? No, that's something else. What is the counterspell? It's very basic. All it does is put it back on top of their deck. I'm pretty sure it's 1 generic and 1 blue. Maybe you guys can come up with that real quick. I'm going to just Google it real quick. So it's like counter target spell, top of library, and let's see what we get. Memory Lapse, of course, Memory Lapse. So I'm pretty sure that card's not legal in Modern. I can just go ahead and check the legality. Yeah, not legal in Modern. Memory Lapse is a pretty strong card. Counters it, puts it on top of its owner's library instead of into their graveyard. Now, it's not just strictly better than Ether Gust, even though Ether Gust seems significantly more narrow because it's only red or green. Because Ether Gust lets us, and also, all right, so first of all, Memory Lapse tries to counter a spell. And so Ether Gust, one of the biggest upsides is that it gets around uncounterable, right? Let me go back to the chat real quick. Memory Lapse. That's pretty funny, guys. Good catch. Memory Lapse. So Memory Lapse is a counterspell, so it doesn't really do anything against Cavern of Souls, whereas Ether Gust does. Also, Memory Lapse doesn't do anything in the face of Veil of Summer. So clearly Ether Gust just superior in the Modern format. Really nice that Memory Lapse can target any color spell and always just puts it on top. Ether Gust, the opponent gets to choose if it goes on the top or the bottom. But okay, the fact that it gets around uncounterable stuff seems great. So what are the matchups where Ether Gust comes in? It's going to come in against, obviously against Prime Time. But does it come in against like stuff like Jund? Because it is card kind of negative generally, unless they put it on top, like I said, in which case it's sort of neutral. I guess it comes in against like red green, like Ponza, because you can just delay like a Chandra or something like that, or just bounce a Chandra and then counter it on the way back, something like that. Oh, that's another thing that I've definitely heard people talk about and seen situations where it's come up, but because I haven't myself played with Ether Gust, I haven't actually done that interaction. So yes, that's pretty amazing. Fetch lands are like the most played lands in Modern, and so they crack a fetch. In response, with that shuffle on the stack before it happens, you bounce their bomb, and then the shuffle resolves and it shuffles away. So no matter what, if the opponent puts it on the top or the bottom, it's getting shuffled into the deck, and it's pretty much the same as just like mega exiling it. I mean, I'm sorry, Paintball Demon, what are you saying right now about if they Bogart or Matron, you can gust something to remove it? Well, not really, right? Because they can just put something on top of their deck. Hold on. So if they play the Bogart and it resolves, they get priority back, right? So they get to start making Kiki Jikis or whatever, right? Am I missing something? There's some sequencing with interacting with the combo that you have to kind of think through. So let's say they have a Snoop on the board. They play the Harbinger, and it puts a Kiki Jiki on top of the deck. They still have priority. They can just start making Kiki Jikis, right? No. That doesn't work, right? Oh, you gust. I see. Hold on. You gust away a combo piece, of course. You put a combo piece, and then you take advantage of Harbinger's shuffle. That's what you're saying. I see. So you would gust the Snoop, and that would resolve, and then the Harbinger resolves, shuffles the deck, and well, hold on. It'll put something. It'll put something on top of the deck. No, wait. They shuffle the deck and then they put the card on top. I'm pretty sure that's how that works, right? I'll turn the quantity down and we'll go ahead and look up Harbinger. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Like you search for the card, shuffle the deck, put the card on top of the deck, right? So we have to find Bogart. I think there's a few things named Bogart. More than a few. Look at that. Wow. Okay. I could have just typed Harbinger, which I'm going to do now. All right, so let's find this. I love the art of this. Like the one redeeming feature of goblins is their ridiculous art. It's so beautiful. Like bring Lauren back. Like we need to send like an angry letter to Wizards and say, listen, I don't care how much people hated Lorwyn Limited or Lorwyn Standard or whatever. Like you've learned lessons since then. People love the tribal themes in Lorwyn. People love the art. People like Throne of Eldraine, apart from the broken cards, was just so much a home run flavor-wise, right? It was so, I don't know, so captivating. I don't know. I feel like Lorwyn is a no-brainer. They may have actually said something about that. So let's check out, I mean, when I say that, I mean bringing back Lorwyn. Like, I think what happened was it used to be like maxed out on the Storm scale, which means it's like literally never going to come back. And then Mark Rosewater significantly lowered or raised or whatever the Storm scale, whichever direction it goes. He made it more likely that Lorwyn's going to come back. DV, humans is the only tribe now. Well, fair enough, right? Well, goblins is a big deal. Merfolk, if you check out the current metagame, Merfolk has been doing really well lately, and I'm really proud of the pilots who have been just putting up these results lately. It's 10th. It's like 10th in the metagame right now. Before it was just like hidden and not anywhere in the meta. So we're working our way back. And I think Modern Horizons 2, whenever it does come out, has to have like a ton of Merfolk stuff because people first of all got really pissed at Mark Rosewater, like vocally pissed that there was, I think, 0 Merfolk cards and like 1 elf, and the elf was a joke. It was like 3 Llanowar elves stapled together. So let's finally check out Bogart Harbinger's text. When he enters the battlefield, search your library for goblin card, reveal it, then shuffle your library, put the card on top. Sure. Okay, so this trigger on the stack, you Ether Gust resolves. It puts conspicuous Snoop on top or bottom, right? Doesn't matter, top or bottom. They are going to find a goblin card, then with Bogart, and then it's going to shuffle. Oh, my brain. All right, hang on a second. So Ether Gust resolves, puts their creature either on the top or the bottom, right? The point is it gets it off the board. That's the important thing. It gets it off the board. Then they shuffle. Then something still goes on top of the library. They do get to put something on top of the library, but it slows the combo down. So that's the long and short of it, I guess. I do need to think through those things. Maybe it's intuitive for some of you guys, but some of these interactions, particularly when you haven't actually played in the scenarios, can be a little tricky. But these are the kinds of next level plays that you often get rewarded for in a format like Modern, where it's an older format. There's tons and tons of decks, and just knowing like the best way to use your cards. It comes up all the time. Like I make little missteps in every single match, and I've been playing Magic forever. Well, not forever, not as long as some people, but for a long enough time that you'd think I'd know how to play my cards optimally. But yeah, just knowing like things like shuffling things away with Ether Gust is like a huge advantage in some situations. Well, it removes it from the board either way. Well, let's see. Either it removes it from the board or they don't search. My head's gonna explode. So
First of all, DV says it removes it from the board either way, of course. And by either way, I guess you mean, either it gets shuffled away or they don't get to search. So, I mean, Ether Gust is going to resolve, right? So goblins can't really stop it. So let's say we're targeting Conspicuous Snoop. It's going to resolve. And then they can choose if Snoop goes on the top or the bottom. So it's off the board. It's on the top. If they want to draw it again, let's see. Bogart Harbinger says you may. Sure. So they could not search if they want to, or they could just search for the card that was already on the top of the deck. Doesn't really matter. So yes, I understand your comment. Nyambi actually got in the Flash. This is probably the first time I can remember the Flash being super relevant just to get her down as an attacker. It helped us beat Storm in game 1. I'm gonna have to somehow highlight that match against Storm. Like maybe I'll just tell everybody in the Discord to watch the replay, and I'll give a timestamp and everything, because it was just a really beautiful example of how this deck can navigate through some difficult situations. All right, guys. So thanks very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If some of you aren't following the channel yet, I'd really, really appreciate it if you could do that. Follows are extremely important. It'll help me hopefully eventually get like some kind of sponsorship, which just opens the door to me being able to rent cards like whenever I want without paying for them. And just generally expanding my audience is always a nice thing. Of course, subscribing to the channel is another option if you'd like to financially support the channel a little bit. If you have Amazon Prime, you can actually subscribe for free. You just have to link your Amazon account and your Twitch account, which takes all of like 5 seconds, I think. So the last thing I'm going to do with you guys this evening is just try to send you over to another channel. Looks like Squaw Chief is streaming right now, so I'm gonna try to raid Squaw Chief. If you guys want to just go over there for a minute, say hi, tell him I sent you. That also helps the channel a little bit. So we're gonna raid Squaw Chief, and once again, I really appreciate you guys joining me, and it was a lot of fun tonight. So I'll be streaming next on Wednesday evening with Merfolk. I might try Mono Blue. Blood Moon might be coming back in the format, so running a mono-colored mono base seems like it could be strong. Also, I kind of miss Master of Waves, so I might do that on Wednesday. And I might throw a stream in here and there somewhere throughout the week. We'll see. I do have a bunch of free time now that it's the summer, so I'll see you guys later. Have a good evening.